The house was very quiet that evening. The windows were open and a soft wind moved the white curtains. Inside the living room, the whole family sat together, but no one was speaking much. They were all thinking about the same thing. Grandmother was in her bedroom. She had been sick for a long time. The doctors said she did not have many days left. The family knew this, but they were not ready to accept it. Grandmother was the heart of the house. She had lived with them for more than 20 years. She cooked their favorite meals. She told stories every night. She remembered every birthday, every small success, and every tear. Now she was weak and tired. That evening she asked to see everyone. Her son, her daughter-in-law, and her 3 grandchildren slowly walked into her room. The light was soft. Grandmother was lying on her bed, her silver hair spread gently on the pillow. She smiled when she saw them. "Come closer," she said in a quiet voice. They gathered around her bed. The youngest grandson held her hand. It felt smaller than before. "I do not have much time," she said calmly, "but I have one last wish." The family looked at each other. The daughter-in-law started to cry softly. Grandmother noticed and smiled again. "Do not cry. I am not afraid. I have lived a long life. I am thankful." Her son bent down. "Tell us your wish, Mother. We will do anything." Grandmother closed her eyes for a moment. Then she spoke slowly. "I do not want a big funeral. I do not want expensive flowers. I do not want people who never visited me to come and pretend they cared." The room became very still. "I want something simple," she continued. "After I am gone, I want you all to sit together in this house, cook a simple meal, eat together, talk to each other, laugh, share memories." The eldest granddaughter wiped her tears. "That is all?" she asked softly. Grandmother nodded. "Yes, that is all. I have watched this family grow, but in the last few years I have also watched you grow busy. You eat in different rooms. You look at your phones. You argue about small things." Her voice was gentle, not angry. "I do not want you to remember me with sadness," she said. "I want you to remember that love is simple. It is sitting together. It is listening. It is forgiving." No one could speak. The words were true. The youngest grandson suddenly said, "Grandma, I will sit with you every day." She smiled and touched his cheek. "You already do, my dear." That night, the family stayed in her room for a long time. They talked. They told old stories. They laughed quietly. For the first time in many months, they felt close again. 2 days later, Grandmother passed away peacefully in her sleep. The house felt empty. Her chair near the window was still there. Her knitting basket was on the floor. Everything looked the same, but everything felt different. When the relatives and neighbors asked about the funeral plans, the son remembered her words. "No big ceremony," he said, "just something simple." Some people were surprised, some did not understand, but the family followed her wish. After the small funeral, they returned home. The house was silent again. The daughter-in-law stood in the kitchen. "She said we should cook a simple meal," she whispered. So they did. They cooked rice, lentils, and the vegetable dish Grandmother loved. The grandchildren helped. They cut vegetables, they set the table. No one was looking at their phones. When the food was ready, they all sat at the same table where Grandmother used to sit at the head. At first, it was hard to eat. Their eyes were full of tears. Then the eldest granddaughter spoke. "Do you remember how Grandma used to burn the bread sometimes, but never admitted it?" Everyone smiled. The son laughed softly, and she would blame the oven. They began sharing memories, funny ones, loving ones, small moments that once felt normal, but now felt special. The youngest grandson said, "She always saved the biggest piece of cake for me." The daughter-in-law nodded. "She woke up early every morning just to make sure we had breakfast before school." As they talked, something changed in the room. The sadness was still there, but it was softer now. It was mixed with warmth. They realized something important. Grandmother's last wish was not about the funeral. It was about them. She wanted them to come back to each other. She wanted them to remember what really mattered. That night, after dinner, they did not leave the table quickly. They stayed. They talked more. They listened carefully. They apologized for old arguments. They promised to eat together at least once every day. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, new habits formed. Phones were kept away during meals. Sunday evenings became family time. They cooked together. They shared stories. They laughed more. The house did not feel empty anymore. Grandmother was not there in body, but her wish lived in their actions. One evening, the youngest grandson looked at her empty chair and said, "I think Grandma is happy." The son looked at his family sitting together, smiling and talking. "Yes," he said softly, "I think she is." And in that simple dining room filled with love and gentle laughter, they finally understood her last wish. It was never about saying goodbye. It was about staying close.